Hello, everyone. My name is Harini Krishnan, and I go to Folsom High School. Welcome to Know Your Charity, a talk show series that I'm honored to be hosting in 2021. The intent of this series is to bring representatives or leaders of various nonprofit or charitable and voluntary organizations in the greater Sacramento area. I'm hoping through this series, we get to hear the great humanitarian work that these people and their organizations do in the community. This will serve as an inspiration for students and their families to help out in their community, especially during this pandemic. Today, I have with me Ana Bankert, who is the Development Director for Volunteers of America, Northern California and Northern Nevada. I have been with this organization, or she has been with this organization for almost 9 years. She attended seminar and Bible college after completing high school with the idea that she would become a missionary and serve overseas. This passion morphed into a desire to stay local and still do missionary work, but just in a different way. Welcome, Ana. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's great. Thank you for coming. Let's get started, shall we? So, what is Volunteers of America? What do you do?
Yeah, so Volunteers of America is a national faith-based organization. The faith-based piece is something that not a whole lot of people know about, actually. The way we practice our faith is in a very open way. So we don't discriminate against any faiths. The way we see ourselves is we practice our faith by providing services in a loving and compassionate way. And some of the services that we provide locally include anything from running homeless shelters and getting individuals out of homelessness to running a senior safe house for seniors, and a variety of other services that I think we'll probably dive into in a little bit. But like I said, we're a national organization. We're actually going on our 125th year this year. So we've been around for quite a while. And here in Sacramento, we started in 1911 with a small soup kitchen that ended up growing into what now is a 50 program organization. And we have over 400 full-time employees that work tirelessly to help our communities.
Oh my God, that's so incredible. Love the work that you guys do. So, what part of the community do you guys normally cover?
Yeah, so we're actually in quite a few areas, but provide slightly different services. Definitely in Sacramento County, we have some programs in Placer County. We go all the way to El Dorado County with our veteran services. We also have some reentry programs in the Bay Area for men coming out of San Quentin. So we have rehabilitation services for them, and it's kind of a transition period for them to kind of get back on their feet after being in prison. And we also cover Reno, Nevada, and have a senior housing property in Santa Cruz. So we're sort of all over the place. And if we want to talk specifically in Sac County, I would say that's where the bulk of our programs are. And we have anything from a family shelter, which is an emergency shelter for families of various sizes. We have a senior safe house where we help seniors that have experienced abuse and neglect. We have a women's shelter, a men's shelter, where the goal is to get individuals off the streets and back on their feet. We have employment services. We have a lot of veteran-specific programs. We have low-income housing. So a variety of different opportunities for people who are really struggling, but also looking for those tools that they really need to get back on their feet.
That's amazing to hear. You guys are doing a lot of good things, I can already tell. So as Volunteers of America as a whole, does your organization have more employees, or is it more voluntary based?
Yeah, so locally, I would say we rely on our employee base. like I said, we have about 400 employees that work throughout all of our regions and programs, but we do have a base of volunteers that we rely on. You know, obviously 2020 was a little bit different
Mhm.
for all of us, but especially for our volunteers, it was really hard to get them engaged in person. So typically we rely on a couple hundred volunteers during Operation Backpack, which is our annual back to school campaign. We collect backpacks and school supplies for students that are experiencing homelessness or are low income or foster youth. So our community really gathers together around that campaign, and we have a lot of volunteers involved with that. We have some volunteers help with monthly birthday parties at our different shelters. We have volunteers helping during the holidays with gift wrapping and collecting gifts. So we do have, like I said, somewhat of a volunteer base, but that we're not all volunteers. You know, we do have paid staff that keep our programs running. So it's a little bit of everything, and we all work together.
Okay, that's good to hear. Specifically, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the Operation Backpack because I've personally done some things with that project, and I was just wondering, like, we always donate like the backpacks, but we never know like how you distribute them. So how does that entire project work?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much. You and your group do amazing work for us, and we're so grateful to have you as partners every year. So the backpacks, our goal is to try to keep the backpacks as local as possible. So whoever's collecting them in Roseville or Sac County, we try to keep them with nonprofits that we partner with in those areas. Of course, we have about 500 kids in our Volunteers of America programs that we want to take care of, but all of the other backpacks go to different community partners. So again, this last year was very different. We ended up doing more of a virtual campaign, and we had so much support, and we were able to purchase the backpacks, purchase the school supplies, and have them shipped directly to the nonprofits we partner with in the different areas, and they did their own distribution internally. Typically, what we try to do is we have this big warehouse where we put all of the supplies that come in and all of the backpacks, and we have hundreds of volunteers, like I said, come in and they put the backpacks together, and it's an amazing experience for them. And we have what we call the pick-a-pack event at the end, where we have a few hundred local kids. They come and they pick out their favorite backpack. So it's this whole event, which we were not able to do this last year, and who knows if we will be able to do this year. But yeah, so like you were asking, where do the backpacks go? They go to Volunteers of America kids. They go to the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services. They go to Next Move. They go to sometimes the Salvation Army. So different shelters, different organizations that we've been partnering with for a few years who really need the items for their kids.
Okay, that's amazing to know that they go to a variety of range of kids.
Right, right.
Another thing about Operation Backpack, I know maybe you guys come up with it, but I know when I've done it, we get like a list of items that we want to put in the backpacks if we donate them. So where does your team get these list of items?
So every year we try to kind of reach out to different teachers. Sometimes we talk to students and try to figure out what the best list is. Sometimes it's a little bit harder because different districts require different things. So we try to kind of compile as comprehensive a list as we can. And that's kind of how it works. So this last, well, not in 2020, but in 2019, we ended up going to just two lists, elementary versus middle school, high school, which worked out fairly well, I think. The backpacks end up getting heavier and heavier the higher in grade you go, it seems like. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, things might be very different this year if we're able to do the campaign in full. Who knows what that what that list will look like, you know?
Yeah. Here's hoping that everything goes normal this
Right.
year. Yeah. Um, so talking about Volunteers of America in general, how do you get the funds to run the organization?
So we have some incredible funders. Some of them are government funds, some of them are private funds. We have a lot of partnerships, like I said, with government entities that really support our programs, and we have contracts with them. But we also have a full-time grant writer on staff. She does an incredible job at applying year-round to different foundations and organizations that are able to support the work that we do. And we have an amazing and extremely generous donor base. These are just donors like you and I who just choose to give whatever they can. Some people give monthly, some people give yearly, whatever they can to support the work that we do because they believe in it. So it's a little bit of everything.
Okay. Also for all the viewers, how can the general public help in your organization, especially students like myself?
Right. I think, you doing this is incredible, first of all. Also, learning a little bit more about the need that is out there. I think it's really important to expose ourselves to truly what the need is. So, kind of learning, what does homelessness look like in Sac County? What are the numbers? What are some stories? I think that's very important. Obviously, there are so many ways otherwise you can support. I mean, you can run a drive for us where you're collecting some essential items like socks or hygienic products. We need those year round. We need pet supplies. You can do a drive for that. You can help us during Operation Backpack like you do. You can maybe sponsor a birthday party with your class. I mean, how awesome would that be to just sponsor a birthday party at the family shelter with all your classmates? There are so many different ways. I think it just takes that one or two steps to kind of get into it and learn a little bit about what the need is out there and then getting involved with it.
Okay, yeah, I think this is what we're doing to get people involved and helping in the community. Um,
Right.
you mentioned earlier about how you have senior shelters and other types of shelters that you support. So what would be the selection process for people who are allowed to stay in these shelters?
Right. So it really depends on the location with a lot of our facilities that are shelter facilities per se. Like I said, we partner with a local government, with the county officials and the Department of Human Assistance, and individuals can reach out to them and get referred to our program. So a lot of the ways to get into the program rely on referrals. But we do have some programs like our veterans program located at Mather that it's kind of a walk-in situation, or you give them a call and they're able to kind of do an assessment and see what the needs are and kind of meet the individual where they're at and see what we can do to help them. So it really depends on the program.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So say when these people are in the shelter, how are they taken cared for?
Right. So again, it depends. For example, at our emergency shelter where our families stay, they have a warm bed to sleep in. Obviously, they have the safety of the shelter, roof over their head. They have 3 meals a day that are provided by our central kitchen. So as an organization, we provide about 1,100 meals a day to our shelter residents. So they receive the meals. They have a case manager assigned to them who will kind of come up with a plan and see what the best way of getting this family into permanent housing is, because the goal is to get them out of the shelter as fast as possible. So getting them into permanent housing, getting their income increased, helping them with employment, a variety of different things to really try to assist them to get to that next level of being self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's amazing how you guys are able to help them move to more permanent housings and make them more independent.
Right.
Um, yeah. Just in general, how have your challenges, or especially during COVID, what are some challenges that you guys have faced?
Right. So, I think our staff that work directly with clients, they're superheroes, I'll be honest. I mean, they have worked so hard this last year in implementing new protocols, cleaning 100 times a day, and taking temperatures of residents coming in. And so that has definitely created more work for them. We've had to kind of adjust staff, add staff, then we have to make sure that our staff, they feel safe and they continue to stay healthy. So, making sure we have all that PPE, very necessary. So, there have been challenges for sure, and we've had to make adjustments with new individuals coming into the programs, making sure they self-quarantine before they get exposed to everyone else, which has caused our shelter stays to increase a little bit because people are going through a different process. So yeah, there have been challenges, but there have also been many, many miracles in the sense that we've had hundreds of individuals move into permanent housing. We've had just the fact that we're able to provide over 3,000 individuals, men, women, and children, with a home, with a shelter to stay every single night. That in itself has been a huge miracle. So with all the challenges that we faced, I mean, there's also so much to be grateful for, and there have also been so many successes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so glad that you guys were able to overcome those challenges and being able to provide new housing and things during this past year. Do you have any success stories that you want to share?
Oh, like I said, there's so
There's
many.
so many, but
Um, I think something that could be relevant to some of your viewers, we have this amazing scholarship program called the Dare to Dream Scholarship. And it started with a focus on former foster youth. And now we've just slowly opened it up to Volunteers of America clients that have either gone through our shelter or some of our housing programs who are really pursuing higher education. And one of the stories of Isaiah that I can recall, who just had an incredible story. He was attending Sac State, and he lost his housing and was sleeping on the lawn because he did not want to stop attending school. So he ended up thankfully getting a place at our Adolfo Former Foster Youth Transitional Housing Program, where he received, the housing and all of the other supportive services, help with transportation so that he could continue his studies. And he successfully graduated and went on to be a professor at a university in another state. But just that's one of thousands of stories, but I thought it might be relevant because here you have a college student who did not want to give up on his dream. So, he was homeless, but that didn't even stop him. Thankfully, we were able to support him and, keep him fueled so that he can achieve his dreams and his goals. But just that resilience, we see that in so many of our different clients that we serve, and it's really what propels some of them to keep going. So yeah, like I said, that's just one little glimpse into the many stories that I could share with you. We could be
thank
the hours on here.
thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's an amazing achievement that he was able to do that. Do you want to share where you're located or any place that we can, if that viewers can find more information if they need?
Absolutely, yeah. So our website is VOA-NCNN.org. I know our name is a mouthful, but it all stands for Volunteers of America Northern California, Northern Nevada.org. So VOA-NCNN.org. You can find all the information there on us. Our administrative offices are located at 3434 Marconi Avenue, Sacramento, California. We're not really accepting any visitors right now, so if anyone is interested in volunteering, they can reach out to me. They can go to our website and fill out an application there. We don't have a ton of virtual volunteer opportunities right now, but like I said, there are other ways to get involved, so we can definitely get creative if someone wants to support us. But yeah, check out our website and just, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, obviously, those are, we're on all of those channels, and just look at the work that is happening. We can't take any credit for it because it's all community, our community, people like you, who make it all possible. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's all I had for you. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed and got inspired to help out in your community. I would love to hear your comments and feedback and suggestions. So if you want, you can email me at knowyourcharity5@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.